Fast forward, Mamma was a Sawajimre Owaha, Aha AG Politics Avenue. Podcast or Shetron because Mickey headlines, Najemre, na EDB Esumo. Any dim Yahoo Braxim, Unia, best say Yonko a political house. Now, Menoka say SML Dono, revelations ni exposes a who will be etimi akoswa, etimi a daddy, efa a year say finance minister can Ofori ata ono in a mastermind a year SMS do na onua enye asem koto akra na menoka say a year nimdefo attract a bra omodi enkrata dia dance enso ebo yinchiremu besere say yemu nwura mu ne ehwe ne yeko ani de ba a GH politics avenue
and then do more. I have been listening to the statement that they issued, and I can say it is full of falsehood.
Why do you say that?
Here are the facts. One, this company, I wrote to the Institute of Chartered Accountants Ghana because to do auditing or revenue assurance, you need to be licensed by that organization. The act says that if you fail to secure a license, you could be fined, jailed, or both. SML does not have the license to do auditing or revenue assurance anywhere in this country. They claim they are paid based on performance. If you ever interview anybody, I know someone like Professor Jampo has been speaking for them. He will be on the show tomorrow. If anybody at all who speaks for them, ask them that what is the mode of payment. They are taking a fixed percentage, that's what the contract said, for the downstream petroleum audit. So that anybody who buys petroleum products anywhere in this country, they have a fixed percentage. When you go to the upstream one, which was not implemented, it says any barrel of oil produced in Ghana, they are entitled to a fixed percentage. The gold mining sector, a fixed percentage. Those contracts at the port, a fixed percentage. So it is not true that they are paid based on performance. Two, they did not save Ghana any money. They rather dissipated funds. If you watch our documentary, they made some claims that they had saved Ghana 3 billion Ghana cedis. And we did our checks and it was false. When we confronted the managing director, Christian Tetesoti, he said it wasn't true and that the media misreported them. And I said, this claim is on your website as I speak to you now. And that is where he said in the documentary that, well, I don't know of any website matter. We did not go to SML with a gun. We got our facts. We showed that the information on their website and in Daily Graphic and everywhere was false. We put it to them. They could not stand by those figures. 3, SML said on their website that their work had helped to stem the tide of under-declaration or under-reporting, diversion, and dilution of petroleum products. Kamini, our investigation revealed that the GRA and NPA had contracted companies that were providing these services, and SML was not part of them. So when I put this question to Christian Tetesoti, who is the general manager, managing director of SML, he initially denied that. He said that. So I went on their website and read it to them. And they said, oh, this is not, it's something like a mistake. And what I'm telling you, I didn't go alone. Officials of the GRA, including the head of the petroleum unit and some officials of customs, were all present in that room. What did SML do? They went on their website and deleted those claims of under-declaration, diversion, dilution that they claim to be resolving. The question now is, what problem are you solving if you are not checking any of these? So if you look at everything that has been said, I think sometimes they set their own questions and answer them. If you have the OSP's report, we have page 1, and I'm reading point 5, paragraph 5. It says, SML is a private company limited by shares and incorporated in Ghana. It was originally incorporated on the 14th of February 2017 as Strategic Mobilization Enhancement Limited, SML. Its stated principal activities are general trading and services and import and export of general goods. Its directors are Evans Eduse, Margaret Eduse, Esther Eduse, Patrick Eduse. Its controlling mind and owner is Evans Eduse. There is nowhere in this report that the OSP said the ownership is other politicians, Ken Ofori, and that their records are public. So sometimes they put these statements out. Perhaps people are not minded to check with the facts, and it makes it look as if those who are exposing them are rather lying or spreading falsehood. But this is a company that, in my view, and if you look at the OSP's report, and if anybody is minded to look at the KPMG report, whose findings even try to, in a way, whitewash SML, the conclusion. If you look at pages 157 and 158 of the KPMG report, which is online, you will find out that when it comes to the revenue, when it comes to petroleum volumes, SML has no role in that. And so this is a company that was set up, and perhaps as of the time we're doing this investigation, we asked whether they had any other contract with anybody, and they said no.
Apart from the
except
government.
the GRA. 2017 and 2025, 2 years to their 10th anniversary, and your customer is only one state institution. And it is no secret that Ken Ofori masterminded some of the outrageous deals. There are letters to that effect, because the sector organizations that had oversight responsibilities over the petroleum sector, the mineral sector, we wrote to them, and they said they knew no loopholes, revenue losses that necessitated the expansion of the contracts which Ken Ofori initiated in 2023.
Very well. Just a few things I want us to do, and also notes with regards to the issue around political ownership. What we do know is the fact that certain former commissioners of the GRA have now moved on to become, managers or directors of sorts with SML. And I think that, it's important we put that out there as well, just to give context to, what SML appears to be fighting back on, right? But also, I take you back a few steps when you say that, look, this shouldn't end here. We know the OSP has hinted that, look, if push comes to shove, we have the option of trying in absentia those that we cannot get immediately within the country. For you as the investigative journalist who worked on this, what are your thoughts?
Well, I don't think it is out of place. These are legal issues, and I'm not very well versed in them, but I think that if someone as noble as Ghanaians thought, and he's in a big position, we trusted him with the power to perhaps head our financial sector or the finance and economic ministry, and he serves and does things that are not right, and they want him to come back home and answer to the people, and he's somewhere, then if the laws permit, then they should try him in absentia. I'm sure his lawyers would want to represent him, and whatever it is that goes on in court, if he's free, fine. If he's found guilty and they'll bring him back to serve, fair enough. So whatever that is possible legally, I won't oppose it. But at the end of the day, what Ghanaians should seek is that people shouldn't do these outrageous deals. and get away with it. I am very certain that Ken Ofori-Atta, who we knew before getting into politics, ran businesses such as Data Bank, would never use his own money or the money of his company to engage in a contract like this. I don't think if anybody did this under him, he would allow them. And you stated rightly that GRA officials, these are top officials, the head of legal at GRA is now at SML. A former commissioner of customs of GRA is now at SML. The former technical advisor to the commissioner general of the GRA is now at SML. So these are officials who perhaps at the time made the whole world believe that GRA didn't have the capacity to perform these roles. So let's give the services to another company. But after leaving GRA, they suddenly had the capacity to manage the execution of those contracts. So the question we should also be asking, if these top officials of GRA had these capacities, why did they even give the contracts out in the first place? And we are paying over 1.4 billion. That's how much we've paid. And if you look at the new contract, which Ken Ofori-Atta masterminded in 2023, if this deal had gone through, SML would have been entitled to over $100 million every single year. So for the 5 years, we are talking about over 500 million United States dollars. And
well, now they say that government owes
paid with our taxes who now go there to work.
And Manasseh, now they say that on the contrary, government owes them about 125 million cedis. How should we as a people go around that?
I think that part of the problem is perhaps that the state has been too slow in going after them and taking our money. That is why they are still talking. If the state really acts tough and goes after them, we will see who is supposed to pay. I don't think the people of Ghana, if you look at page 38, for instance, page 38 of the OSP report, which is online, look at the payments made for the transaction audit and external price verification. 2024, that component alone, the state paid 166 million Ghana cedis to SML. 2024 alone. But we know, and it says 12 months, but we know that the first 6 months of 2024, all the services of SML were suspended by President Akuffo. When the GRA even told a lie that it would affect their performance, the president said, stop it until the audit was done. When the audit was completed by KPMG, President Akuffo gave a white paper, and based on that white paper, the external price verification and then transactional audits, components of the contract, were terminated in 2024. The only one whose implementation continued was the downstream petroleum measurement audit contract. Yet we paid 166 million Ghana cedis to SML for the 12 months. The question is, which month in 2024 did they work when the contract for the first part of the year remained suspended and the second part of the year cancelled? So if you go into this report, and what I know, the state is supposed to retrieve hundreds of millions, if not over $1 billion Ghana cedis from this company.
And Manasseh, just to clarify for our viewers, I mentioned earlier about SML saying that the government owed us some 125 million. Is the other way around, I believe. But SML is fighting back that they are rather owed some money. But also to the point that we're hearing West Blue, we're hearing ICOMS before SMEL and then SML, right? And so let's look at the future, right? How this could translate into our ability to revenue assure for ourselves without repeating this. What should that look like, Manasseh?
The history of revenue assurance has been fraught with issues of corruption in the history in this country called Ghana. We know of Suba Info Solutions that was doing a similar work at the telcos industry. And in 2013, it emerged that they were not doing anything apart from taking data from the already existing system and presenting it for payment. Now these companies and their sponsors in government go about lying that others are shortchanging, people are stealing, so we are going to check them. Ask SML, and we asked them this question when we had the interview, that since they started operations, has there been a single incident? They claim the people are stealing, cheating the system, so they were coming to what? Police them. So we asked, has there ever been a single incident that you caught an oil marketing company or a BDC or someone trying to shortchange the system, and then your vigilance or auditing or revenue assurance pointed out to that and they said no? So if you claim that people are shortchanging the system, companies are stealing from the state, and you are brought in, at least for all these number of years, we should be able to have a single incident that your vigilance, your so-called real-time monitoring, your so-called meters should be able to contradict a claim or point out that Total, Goil, Allied Oil, or this OMC did something wrong that we found out. It has never happened. And that Kamine should alarm us that we cannot be paying so much money when we cannot. If the GRA even wants to have its own meters, all that it needs to do is to buy the meters. Every depot in Ghana where petroleum products are lifted, we have GRA customs officials stationed there. So can they do the monitoring? Yes. Why are they not doing it? Because someone thinks that if we give it to another company,
right,
that company will be making hundreds of millions of the state. And this is something that GRA can do. They are doing more complex work there. I don't want us to create a system that all these public or state institutions and officials are so dumb that they cannot do anything.
right.
I, through this investigation, visited the depots. Customs officials, GRA officials are doing hard work. There is nothing to show that they cannot put a meter there and read it unless we give it to a company that is formed and try to get approval. PPA says no, you cannot get it. Then the company changes its name from SML. Of course, it has been smelling from day one to SML and goes on to get these.
You really didn't have
deals.
to go there. But thank you so much for your time, Manasseh. We'll see you tomorrow on Key Points as well.
Well, I've not been invited yet. If you do, I'll join you.
Well, thank you so much. Manasseh Azoria-Wone is an investigative journalist. We've just been looking at the very latest on the GRA SML controversial contracts. He's been giving us an insight into the developments in the last few hours of the evening. We want to move on to some other matters now, but before then, let's take a listen to legal practitioner Martin Kpebu on the same issue.
Yeah, the decision by the president is spot on. This is what Akuffo should have done a long time ago. But because SML was being sponsored, being promoted, etc. by Ofori, and I'm not the one saying it, the OSP report says it. So it means that once Ofori was benefiting, Akuffo was benefiting. So Akuffo had no interest in cancelling the contracts. That's the whole thing. If you read the OSP report, it says that Ofori kept promoting, and making false statements to other institutions that SML is good at this, SML is good at that, has a track record in this, the various transactions. I'm talking about the audit verification transaction, external price verification, all the other things. Once Ofori was saying those things, he was saying those to his benefit. And once Ofori was benefiting, that's Akuffo benefiting. And so it's easy to understand why Akuffo didn't cancel the contract.
Well, clearly, SML's contracts may be over, but this issue is far from over. We'll continue to bring you developments as they emerge. Right now, let's turn attention to the long-awaited repeal of LI 2462, and it's now in the works as government lays new LI that will better position the country to fight illegal and unethical mining.
We ayen sama horo timi koso channel no so mamna so jemre e wa hasi da sene so ba de no e de don bi edobenia onu yen san hyiam na yen so mo kwan so so kra